For many decades, the grains industry has been concentrating on fast-maturing, short-season wheats. However, new research is challenging that thinking. Findings from GRDC-funded research show a mix of both slow and fast-maturing varieties can help maximise whole farm wheat yields.
Having slower maturity, and particularly winter wheats, just gives us more options, more opportunities to get a crop up earlier and have it flowering in that optimal window. We haven't got all our eggs in the one basket as we do with our mid-fast spring wheats, where if we don't get a sowing opportunity in the first half of May, we're in trouble.
When a wheat crop flowers too early, there's insufficient radiation from the short days to drive growth and grain production. And that immature grain head is a sitting duck for frost. But what do you risk by sowing late and having a crop flower after the optimal period?
If you flower too late, the temperatures are too high and plants are developing too fast, and so they don't accumulate enough growth. And you also have heat stress on the plant, so you can sterilise pollen if things get too hot and kill leaf area. And also plants can't photosynthesise efficiently. They can't use water efficiently if the air's too hot and dry.
The optimal flowering period is only open for a couple of weeks on average, up to 4 in softer environments. But here's the problem. This rainfall graph for Coolamon in southern New South Wales is typical of what's happening in southeastern Australia. Rainfall in late autumn has been in decline for the past 17 years. Bottom line, sowing opportunities are being squeezed, and that makes it tougher to hit the optimal flowering window with our short-season varieties. By contrast, though, late summer rainfall's been more reliable, even increasing. So what about being ready to sow a long-season winter wheat that early? Could that get more of your crop to flower at the right time and increase whole farm yield? Well, research out of GRDC's Water Use Efficiency Initiative and its early sowing project shows that it does.
What we found is that the earlier you sow, and if you change to a slower maturing variety to do that, then yield is as good or better than, I guess, what's our current practice, which is sowing our mid-fast spring wheats in late April, early May.
But how's that work? Late Feb sowing's a long way out to be trying to hit the optimal flowering window way down near the other end of the season. What takes the pressure off there is the slow maturing wheat's attitude to temperature, ideally 4 to 10 degrees Celsius. It needs a spot of winter to flower.
So what that does is it gives them an incredibly stable flowering time, or consistent flowering time, from a very broad range of sowing dates. So what that means practically on a farm is that you can sow any time from the end of February through to the start of May, and if you're using a winter wheat adapted to your environment, you'll be hitting that optimal flowering window.
With no-till farming doing a better job of retaining soil moisture, the odds of an early sown crop establishing well are pretty solid.
This is a really good example of what we've been talking about. We're here on the 28th of February in a trial plot in Canberra. We had 80 mils of rain about 2 weeks ago, planted Manning winter wheat, and it's only sown 3 or 4 days ago. It's going to not flower until the optimal period in Canberra, which is around the end of October, start of November. And so we've just been able to grab a sowing opportunity when it arose and ensure that we've got that crop flowering in the optimal window.
For a grower, that would mean being ready with varieties to cover a longer sowing program.
I guess the way you should look at it is, coming into the growing season, just take the opportunities as they arise. So if you get a rain in March, look at planting a winter wheat. If you get a rain in the middle of April, look at a winter wheat or a slow maturing spring wheat. But if you get to the end of April and you haven't had any opportunities at all, the best thing you can do is start dry sowing a mid-fast spring wheat.
There's more to this story, and at this point you have a choice of videos. If an early sown, slow maturing wheat is on your agenda, you'll want to be aware of the special considerations for disease and crop management that come with it. For that, you'd watch the video on the left. Or to really get down to the nuts and bolts, CSIRO's James Hunt presents a series of 3 short instructional videos. That's on the right.